Hello, viewers. How are you, brothers and sisters? I'm very happy today because the Lord is good. Well, I have been looking at several things in my life, and I feel so disturbed. Uh, First, I've come across so many people in my life: business people, clergy, workmates, schoolmates, and all kinds of people. And there is one thing that I have noted, that many a times we don't think. Now, it will look very absurd if somebody would tell you that you do not think. The first reaction is that you will react negatively and you'll be very furious about it. But the truth is that many a times we don't think. We just do things because other people do them or because they're written in the books. But I am of a contrary opinion that in everything that you do in life, you should never do it because other people do it. But whatever you do it because it is right. That is why I have a contrary opinion. Let me give you an example. If you are faced by a challenge sometime last year, in a day like today, but last year, and today you face the same challenge, I want to assure you that the decision that you made last year, you will never make the same decision. Maybe there will be some slight difference or some slight change in your decision that you make today. What does that mean? That means that the decision you made last year, you never thought. You never give it a thought. And that is why many of us do not think. Yes, we have a brain. Between our ears, there is a brain that we think with, but many a times we do not think. You and me, many a times, we don't think. We just make decisions because we make them, but we make them without thinking. Now, take some time, and whichever decision that you do from now henceforth, think about it. Make a decision for posterity, not for today only. Make a decision that even tomorrow you can start by that decision, and that is the way you think. Many a times we do not think, we do not use our brains. That is why many decisions are made wrongly. And if you reflect your life, and I reflect my own life, you will find so many loopholes. You find many decisions that you make which are wrong. Why? Because you did not take time to think. Many a times we make decisions without thinking. We don't think when making our decisions. Start thinking. Make a decision from an informed position. And by so doing, you'll be doing yourself justice. And all the other people who are around you, you will have made your decision from an informed position. It is true, many times we don't think. Yes, we have a brain. Yes, we are learned. Yes, we are rich. Yes, we have everything that we require. But many times we do not think. Come on. I once have had a friend of mine who was a decision maker as I am. And today, many of us are decision makers. And whichever decision you make, many a times the decision is wrong because you do not think. Think. Whatever you do, think about it. Make any decision from an informed position. And by so doing, you will have done yourself justice. I remember one time I was schooling in Kabete Technical in the early 1980s, and I had a Briton teacher by the name Mr. Thompson. One day, Mr. Thompson came to class and he posed a question to us. He asked us, young men, How many of you would wish to live without a single problem? And funny enough, all of us hands were up. I do not blame ourselves because we were young students in Computer Technical by then. Specifically, that was in 1980. Mr. Thompson told us, "You Africans, you don't think." And we were furious with him. Because we thought because he was a Briton, he was racist. Or rather, he was taking us for granted. And we felt we were the cream de la cream by then in a very good school in Kenya, Kabete Technical. But then he told us, "Young men, keep your hands down. I want to ask you again, how many of you would wish to live without a single problem?" Now, this time round, we were confused. We didn't have an answer. Some of us thought that they don't need to live with a problem. But Mr. Thompson told us, "Young men, keep your hands down." And then he took some time. He walked about in the front of our lecture room. And then he told us, "Young men, let me tell you, there is 1,000,000 people on earth who does not have a single problem. But," and then he walked again across the lecture hall, and then he told us, "But all of them are dead and in their graves." Wow, that was a surprise to us. Nobody wants to live with any problem. We want to live without a problem. And then Mr. Thompson continued. He told us, "Problems is a sign of life. And every person who is alive today has one problem or the other. You may be rich, but you have another problem. You may be poor and still you have another problem. You may not be healthy. You may be having marital problems. You may be having business problems. You may be having social problems. You'll be having economic problems. At least everybody who is alive today, that includes you and me, have one problem or the other. And let me tell you, problems are not the same. Your problems may not necessarily be my problems. Your problems may not be necessarily be my problems. You have your own problems, I have my own problems. But whatever the case, everybody who is alive today has one problem or the other. Then Mr. Thompson continued and told us, problems is a sign of life. I'm speaking to you today because you are alive. And because you are alive, you have a problem, one or the other. Problems vary from one person to the other. Problems vary from one society to the other. Problems vary from one country to another. Problems vary from one environment to another. And so, whoever is alive today has one problem or the other. Whatever the problem you are in, you are a decision maker in one way or the other. You'll make a financial decision, you'll make a family decision, you make a business decision, you'll make all kinds of decisions because in one way or the other, you are a decision maker. But whatever the decision you make, many a times, you do not think. You make decisions without thinking. And that is why we have all problems around you, all problems around our societies, all problems around ourselves. Because many decisions that we make, we do not think. Now, make a point of thinking. Wherever you do a decision, think. Even think critically. You don't have to agree with everything. Maybe some of the decisions that are made in this life, they were made by people who had their own intentions, who had their own decisions, who had their own interests. But you, wherever you make a decision, make sure that the decision you're making a decision for posterity. A decision that you can stand by tomorrow. and a vision that can be emulated by the generations to come. Thank you very much. God bless you.